The Wednesdays are usually about sharing fun facts about Israel. We're starting a new series starting today, this week, where we will be talking about the different tribes of Israel, one per week. I'm very excited about it. This week, we're going to be talking about the tribe of Reuben. Shalom, my friends. This is the Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. The tribe of Reuben. Right, let's just remind ourselves, kind of zoom out a little bit, get some context. Jacob is the grandson of Abraham. We have Isaac, we have Jacob. He merited to have the wisdom passed on to him, both from his father and his grandfather. That's one of the reasons it is said that all the children of Jacob were righteous. Right? There was no split off like there was with Abraham's children and with Isaac's children, because he had that wisdom from two generations being passed on to him. And we know that Jacob will go on to have 12 sons through 4 different women, right? His love is Rachel, but we know from the stories of the Holy Bible that he also marries Leah. There's a whole story where he was tricked by Laban, into marrying not Rachel but Leah. Then he had to work longer to marry Rachel as well. So that whole story, and there was a concubine that came along, so to speak, with each one of them. And through those 4 women, he will have 12 sons, and those will be the 12 sons of Israel. Those will be the 12 tribes of Israel. And the very first son who was born through Leah will be Reuven. Reuven, that's how we say it in Hebrew. In Hebrew, Reuben or Reuven. And it's a very special thing in Judaism to be the firstborn. Right, the firstborn is given a double portion of any inheritance that is left over after the death of the father. And also the firstborn really represents, really symbolizes a lot of what the father is trying to do in this world, what the father is trying to accomplish in the world. He really kind of becomes that symbol for the father. And we can really see that in Reuven, right? I'm going to use the Hebrew, Reuben or Reuven. Okay, just a few facts, interesting facts about Reuven is that why is he given his name? Right? Because Leah was, she knew that she wasn't Jacob's favorite, right? That Jacob really wanted to marry her sister, and Jacob only married her because he was tricked into doing so by her father. And so there was a lot of agony there. And when she was the first one to give birth, that was like a real kind of special thing for her. And she even says, I want to call this son Reuven, because Reuven comes from the word, the Hebrew word Reuven, or the Hebrew name Reuven, comes from the Hebrew word lirot, ro'eh, to see. And she says, this is recorded in the Torah, in the Holy Bible, that she says, now I know that God has seen my affliction, right, and has blessed me, and maybe my husband will love me, right? And so the name Reuven is based on this Hebrew word for seeing, because she finally feels seen, right? That she's been kind of taken a little bit out of her pain and agony by being the first wife and the first woman in Jacob's life to give birth, to give him a son, which is a really big deal, to give him his firstborn, which is an extra big deal, right? So we see that his name Reuven is very deeply associated with this idea of seeing. We'll get back to that in a moment. One of the biggest moments of his life is that when the sons grow up and Joseph is sent out by Jacob to find out what's going on with the sons as they're out there shepherding in the fields, the other brothers want to kill him. Right, the other brothers want to kill Joseph because of their jealousy, and Joseph is kind of flaunting all these dreams to them. And Reuven gets involved as the firstborn, as the first and the oldest son, right? The way he should, and says, don't kill him. Put him in the pit. Put him in the pit. And they thought that was a great idea, kind of part, even maybe worse than death. Let's see what happens to him there. But the only reason Reuven did that is because he wanted to buy time. He wanted to buy time, get the brothers to stop with their plan of killing him, and then he would take Joseph out of the pit and bring him back to his father. But he had to run off to go help his father, Jacob. And by the time Reuven came back, the pit was empty. They had already taken him out and sold him as a slave, and he was obviously brought down to Egypt. Right? So that shows, Reuven's character, and also the responsibility that he took for the other brothers as the firstborn. I want to share one or two other things about Reuven. that each of the tribes also had a symbol, also had something that symbolized their tribe. And for the tribe of Reuven, it was the jasmine plant, right? And it's associated with another story in the Torah. And the jasmine plant represents fertility, right? And we know, after Reuben came, an abundance of children, which again symbolizes fertility. But really, fertility is something that will play out into the story of the nation of Israel, of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel, to bring more and more out into the world, right? Fertility in terms of children, fertility in terms of the land of Israel and the abundance that it will bring out, but also fertility in a spiritual kind of way, of this, pouring forth, of this giving over, of this sharing, right? That the tribes of Israel and one united nation of Israel, their goal, their purpose was to share forth the message of one God, right? Their mission was really to share in a fertile kind of way, in an abundance kind of way with the entire world. Don't hold back, don't stop, right? The message of that there is one God in the world. We have to remember that thousands of years ago, when Judaism was born and the 12 tribes were around, the whole world was polytheistic. And Judaism came into the world, and the 12 tribes came into the world, right, to bring this message. And they were supposed to do so in a fertile kind of way, in a way that they would just keep giving, keep teaching, keep showing, and keep sharing with the world this very, very important message. So here's a little bit about Reuven. I want to share one last thing, right? Going back to his name, that it's based off this idea of seeing. And again, in a spiritual sense, the tribe of Reuven is supposed to teach and is supposed to share, right? This very, very Jewish message that we are meant to see God, so to speak, in the world, right? Not like, in a physical kind of way, because obviously God's beyond physicality, but in a way that we can see the imprint of God, we can see the hand of God, the works of God, and we can understand as we walk around this world and we live our lives that the way that we see is so important. The way that we see impacts our life greatly, and that we should see the positive things in this world, and we should see the godliness of this world, and we should see the things and the messages that God's always sending us, right, in order to live our lives in the best way possible. That's a little bit about the tribe of Reuven. Very excited to keep sharing this new series with you each week, a different tribe.